Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to remind you of a truth so simple yet so deeply hidden by comparison, pressure, and unrealistic expectations. We all are perfectly imperfect. Not broken, not incomplete, not behind, just human, evolving, learning, and beautifully unfinished. From a young age, we are taught to chase perfection, perfect grades, perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect lives. We scroll through images of flawless smiles and polished success stories and quietly begin to believe that something about us is not enough. But I am here to tell you this: perfection is an illusion, and your imperfections are not your enemy. They are your signature. They are the fingerprints of your journey. Every scar you carry tells a story. Every mistake holds a lesson. Every failure has shaped the resilience within you. The moments that made you feel weak were also the moments that taught you how strong you truly are. You did not become who you are in comfort. You grew through struggle, through uncertainty, through nights when you questioned your worth and mornings when you chose to rise anyway. There is power in accepting your flaws. When you stop fighting who you are and start embracing who you have become, something remarkable happens. You begin to breathe freely. You begin to walk with honesty. You begin to live instead of perform. Authenticity becomes your greatest strength, and suddenly the weight of pretending fades away. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real. Real with your fears. Real with your doubts, real with your dreams. And in that realness lies your true beauty. Because when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you give others permission to do the same. You turn pain into purpose. You turn insecurity into empathy. You transform silence into strength. Understand, this growth is not a straight line. It is messy. It is unpredictable. It is imperfect. And that is exactly what makes it meaningful. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and character is shaped in moments that test your soul. So do not shame your past versions. Honor them. They carried you here. Stop wishing you were someone else. The world does not need another copy. It needs your voice, your story, your perspective, your imperfect brilliance. The cracks in you are where the light enters. The broken pieces are where healing begins. So today, stop apologizing for not being flawless. Stop hiding the parts of you that feel vulnerable. Begin to celebrate them. Speak kindly to yourself. Look in the mirror and see a survivor, a dreamer, a soul still becoming. Because the truth is, perfection is not the goal. Growth is. Love is. Acceptance is. And when you finally embrace every part of who you are, flaws and all, you step into your greatest power. You are not perfectly perfect. You are perfectly imperfect. And that is more than enough. Imperfection is often misunderstood as a flaw, a limitation, or a sign that something is missing. Society teaches us to hide our mistakes, mask our vulnerabilities, and polish our image until it appears flawless. Yet the truth is far more powerful. Imperfection is not weakness. It is proof that we are alive, evolving, and courageously moving through the journey of growth. Every human being carries imperfections because every human being is learning. There is no growth without error, no wisdom without experience, and no transformation without struggle. The moments we call failures are often the very moments that shape our strength, refine our character, and deepen our understanding of life. Imperfection reminds us that we are not machines designed for precision, but souls designed for progress. When we accept that imperfection is natural, we begin to release the pressure of unrealistic expectations. We stop punishing ourselves for not being perfect and start appreciating the effort we put into becoming better. Growth is not about eliminating flaws. It is about understanding them, learning from them, and transforming them into stepping stones for improvement. Consider this: every scar tells a story, every mistake carries a lesson, and every moment of doubt contributes to self-awareness. These experiences do not weaken us, they strengthen us. They make us more empathetic, more resilient, and more compassionate, not only towards ourselves but also towards others. Imperfection also builds authenticity. When we allow ourselves to be real instead of perfect, we create genuine connections. People do not connect with perfection, they connect with honesty. They connect with stories of struggle, persistence, and growth. In your vulnerability lies your power, and in your imperfection lies your relatability. Growth thrives in discomfort. The desire to improve, to learn, to rise again after a fall comes from recognizing that we are not yet who we want to be. This awareness is not a weakness, it is a strength. It is the driving force behind ambition, creativity, and self-development. When we idolize perfection, we create fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But when we embrace imperfection, fear loses its power. We give ourselves permission to try, to fail, to learn, and to try again. That permission is freedom. Look at nature. Nothing in its purest form is perfect, yet everything is beautiful. Mountains have rough edges, rivers take unpredictable paths, and the sky changes its colors without apology. Still, we call this beauty. Why then deny the same grace to ourselves? Your imperfections do not define your limits, they define your process. They reveal your growth, your effort, your courage to continue despite uncertainty. They show that you are evolving, not stagnant, becoming, not finished. So instead of hiding your flaws, honor them. Instead of criticizing your mistakes, learn from them. Instead of fearing imperfection, embrace it, because in that acceptance lies the true power of transformation. You are not weak for being imperfect. You are human, and your humanity is the very source of your strength, your growth, and your becoming. Self-acceptance is not a destination we arrive at after everything is perfect. It is a decision we make to honor ourselves exactly as we are. In a world constantly telling us who to be, how to look, and what success should resemble, choosing to accept yourself becomes an act of courage, strength, and deep personal power. True confidence does not emerge from comparison or approval. It grows from the quiet, unwavering belief that you are enough. When you accept yourself, you stop fighting your own reflection. You stop living in a constant state of self-criticism and begin to replace that harsh inner dialogue with compassion, understanding, and patience. Self-acceptance means acknowledging both your strengths and your weaknesses without shame. It is the willingness to say, "This is who I am today, and I am still worthy of love, respect, and growth." And confidence built on self-acceptance is unshakable. It does not collapse when someone disagrees with you. It does not disappear when you face failure. It does not fade when life presents challenges. Instead, it stands firmly because it is rooted in authenticity. You no longer feel the need to pretend, impress, or prove yourself to the world. You simply become. Inner peace follows the moment you stop resisting yourself. Much of our stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion comes from trying to be someone we are not. We carry the burden of expectations, fear of judgment, and the desire to fit into molds that were never designed for us. Self-acceptance releases this burden. It allows you to breathe freely, move honestly, and live without constantly seeking validation. Accepting yourself does not mean you stop growing. It means you grow from a place of love instead of punishment. You evolve because you care about yourself, not because you despise who you are. That shift changes everything. Growth becomes empowering instead of exhausting. Improvement becomes inspiring instead of humiliating. When you practice self-acceptance, you develop emotional resilience. You learn to sit with your imperfections without self-hatred. You learn to forgive your past without letting it define your future. You learn to see your mistakes as stepping stones, not as life sentences. And in that acceptance, healing begins. Peace also arrives when you recognize that you do not have to mirror anyone else's journey. Your pace is yours. Your path is yours. Your story is yours. Self-acceptance allows you to release comparison and embrace individuality. Instead of asking, "Why am I not like them?" you begin to ask, "How can I become the most authentic version of myself?" This acceptance strengthens your relationships as well. When you are at peace with who you are, you stop demanding others to fill the voids within you. You love more freely, communicate more honestly, and connect more deeply. You stop seeking perfection in others and start appreciating humanity. True confidence is quiet. It does not need to announce itself. It is felt in your posture, your tone, your decisions, and your boundaries. It is visible in the way you treat yourself when no one is watching, and it is sustained by self-acceptance. So embrace your reflection, your story, your journey, your evolving self. Celebrate the progress you have made and the strength it took to reach this moment. Accept the person you are becoming, even if you are not yet who you want to be. Because when you finally accept yourself fully, peace follows naturally, confidence rises effortlessly, and life begins to feel less like a battle and more like a beautiful unfolding of who you truly are. Flaws are not merely imperfections to be hidden or erased. They are the teachers of our soul. Every weakness, every mistake, every moment where we fell short carries within it a lesson that quietly shapes who we become. It is through our flaws that life speaks to us most honestly, and it is through our struggles that wisdom is born. Many people spend their lives trying to run from their flaws. They disguise them, deny them, or judge themselves harshly for having them. Yet the truth is, flaws are not signs of failure, they are invitations to growth. They highlight the areas where we need healing, understanding, patience, and change. Without flaws, there would be no progress, no transformation, and no depth of character. Every time you make a mistake, you are given an opportunity to learn. Pain teaches awareness, experience teaches resilience, and failure teaches strategy. These lessons do not come from perfection, they come from imperfection. They come from the courage to try, to fall, and to rise again with greater clarity and strength. Think about the moments that shaped you the most. They were likely not moments of ease, but moments of challenge. The times you felt vulnerable, disappointed, or uncertain were also the times you discovered your inner strength. Your flaws forced you to adapt, to think differently, and to evolve into a wiser version of yourself. Wisdom does not come from a flawless life. Wisdom comes from lived experience. It comes from understanding why something didn't work, from reflecting on your choices, and from choosing differently the next time. Your flaws refine your judgment, deepen your empathy, and strengthen your emotional intelligence. When you acknowledge your flaws instead of resisting them, you gain power over them. Awareness turns weakness into insight. Insight turns struggle into strategy. Strategy turns pain into progress. This process is the foundation of personal growth and inner maturity. You stop repeating cycles and start creating change. Flaws also develop humility. They remind us that we are human, not superior, not exempt from life's lessons. This humility builds compassion, not only for ourselves, but also for others. When you understand your own imperfections, you become more patient, more forgiving, and more understanding toward the struggles of others. Strength is not built in moments of perfection, it is built in moments of recovery. Every time you choose to move forward despite doubt, insecurity, or past mistakes, you strengthen your character. You develop resilience, courage, and emotional endurance. These qualities are not born from flawless experiences. They are forged in the fires of imperfection. There is also clarity in flaws. They reveal your limits and show where growth is needed. They push you to self-reflect and realign your path. Instead of viewing flaws as shameful, see them as guideposts showing you where to invest effort, where to heal, and where to evolve. A person who has faced struggles and learned from them carries depth that cannot be created by ease alone. Their voice has wisdom. Their presence carries understanding. Their decisions reflect experience. Their strength is not loud, but steady, grounded, and powerful. So do not reject your flaws. Embrace them as part of your human story. Study them, learn from them, and allow them to shape you. They are not here to break you. They are here to build you. They are the silent teachers carving strength into your spirit and wisdom into your mind. Because in the end, it is not perfection that defines a powerful life. It is the lessons learned, the growth achieved, and the strength born from every imperfect step along the way. Authenticity is the courage to be who you truly are, without masks, without pretense, and without the exhausting need to meet false expectations. In a world where perfection is often performed and image is carefully curated, authenticity stands as a quiet revolution. It is the decision to live honestly, speak truthfully, and exist unapologetically, even when it feels uncomfortable or vulnerable. When you are authentic, you show the world your true self, your real thoughts, your genuine emotions, and your honest story. This level of honesty creates genuine connection. People do not form deep bonds with perfection, they connect with truth. They relate to your struggles, your imperfections, your doubts, and your victories. Authenticity breaks walls and builds bridges, allowing real relationships to flourish. Connection born from authenticity is powerful because it is rooted in sincerity. When you stop pretending, others feel safe to stop pretending too. Your truth gives others permission to be honest about their own. This shared vulnerability creates understanding, empathy, and compassion. In authenticity, people feel seen, heard, and valued, not judged or compared. Healing also begins when authenticity is embraced. Much of our emotional pain comes from suppression, hiding, and denying who we are. When you continually silence your feelings or mold yourself to fit into societal expectations, you create inner conflict. Authenticity releases that tension. It allows you to express, process, and acknowledge your emotional reality, and in that acknowledgement, healing starts to take place. To be authentic is to accept every part of yourself, the confident and the uncertain, the strong and the vulnerable. It means no longer apologizing for your emotions or shrinking your identity to please others. This self-acceptance creates emotional freedom. You stop living in fear of judgment and start living in alignment with your true values. Real success cannot exist without authenticity. Success built on false identities is fragile and exhausting. It requires constant performance, constant validation, and constant fear of exposure. But success built on authenticity is stable, fulfilling, and deeply satisfying. It reflects who you truly are and not who you pretend to be. When you align your life with your true self, your decisions become clearer. Your goals become meaningful. Your actions become purposeful. You are no longer chasing approval. You are pursuing authenticity. This alignment creates confidence, passion, and clarity, all essential elements of sustainable success. Authenticity also strengthens leadership, creativity, and influence. People follow those who are real, not those who are flawless. A genuine voice carries power because it is rooted in truth, not performance. Authentic individuals inspire others not through perfection, but through honesty. They lead by example, not illusion. Living authentically also builds resilience. When you accept your true self, criticism loses its destructive power. You no longer depend on external validation to define your worth. You understand who you are and stand firmly in that truth. This self-awareness protects your peace and strengthens your emotional core. The journey to authenticity is not always easy. It requires courage to unlearn years of conditioning and expectations. It asks you to confront fear, embrace vulnerability, and trust your inner voice. But the reward is profound. Freedom replaces fear, peace replaces pressure, confidence replaces doubt. Authenticity allows life to flow more naturally. You experience joy without guilt, express emotions without shame, and pursue dreams without apology. Your life begins to feel lighter, more meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. You start attracting people and opportunities that align with your true essence. In being authentic, you do not just exist, you resonate. You heal. You connect, you inspire, you succeed. Because real success is not about becoming someone else. It is about having the courage to become fully, fearlessly, and beautifully yourself. Vulnerability has long been misunderstood as weakness, as something to hide, avoid, or bury beneath layers of strength and control. Many people believe that to be powerful, they must appear unshaken, unbreakable, and emotionally distant. Yet the truth is far more profound. Vulnerability is not a sign of fragility, it is the doorway to self-love, inner strength, and true personal power. To be vulnerable is to allow yourself to be seen as you are, not as a perfected version of who you think you should be. It is the courage to admit your fears, express your emotions, acknowledge your struggles, and speak your truth even when your voice shakes. This courage requires more strength than silence ever could, because it demands honesty with both yourself and the world. Self-love begins the moment you stop resisting your own emotions. When you allow yourself to feel pain without judgment, sadness without shame, and uncertainty without self-criticism, you create a safe space within your own heart. In that space, healing happens. In that space, compassion grows. And in that space, you begin to truly understand yourself. Vulnerability connects you to your humanity. It reminds you that you do not have to carry everything alone, that you are allowed to need support, rest, and understanding. By accepting this truth, you release the exhausting pressure of always having to be strong. You give yourself permission to be real, and that honesty becomes the foundation of genuine self-love. Personal power does not come from suppressing emotion, but from understanding it. When you face your fears instead of avoiding them, you reclaim control over your narrative. When you express your truth instead of silencing it, you reclaim your voice. This is power, not dominance over others, but mastery over self.